Q1 is smaller, cheaper, and at normal listening levels it sounds just as good as the M2X. Sure, it lacks the M2X's rubber port gaskets, balanced output, Wi-Fi, Tidal, and on, but its simplified graphical and physical UI are just what my doctor ordered. The Q1 is more compact than a slimline Iowa MD player. Heck, its footprint is smaller than a minidisc cassette and only about 3 times as thick. Unlike a HX100, its buttons are easy to reach and sized for adult fingers. The tracking back button falls right under the index finger, the play pause button falls right under the middle finger, and the tracking forward right under the ring finger. The one fly stirring in the ointment is the ambiguous iconography behind its play pause button, which sure as not looks like a stop-start control for a portable recorder. The Q1's headphone jack is center aligned along the bottom edge. This ensures that the headphone cables droop directly from the player in a clean parabolic arc to your ears. Top-aligned ports force the headphone cable to double back behind the player and hook or stab random stuff in front of you, which can damage both the player and the plug. Thanks to its curved bottom, the Q1 feels great in the hand, but on a table it spins like a top. Still, the Q1 is buttoned up pretty tight. If not for its protruding glass screen, I reckon it could take a spill or two from your kitchen table. Its back is hollowed from a single piece of metal and its large buttons sit atop solid plinths. Glass screen aside, it is ready to be rough-handled. The Q1 screen is pretty low resolution and isn't great for browsing photos, but its colors are reasonably crisp. Viewing angles are sufficient enough to keep text and art legible for most viewing, but gosh if it doesn't wash out pretty fast when held at an angle. In every aspect it is superior to the screens in Koen's D2 and Onkyo's DPS-1. Even when scrolling fast, image tearing is minimal. Conversely, when browsing 2 or 3 layers deep in the UI, the Q1 stammers a bit. Speaking of UI, while as easy as pie to learn and reliable whilst jogging from home to work, its icons are straight from Windows XP. They are ugly and a poor match to the Q1's playful exterior. But they are the right size for easy touching, and they are perfectly placed for fingers of all sizes. Behind them is a responsive touch swipe engine. A few screens are confusing, hide too much, or display incorrect information. An example of the latter is "You're the One for Me's" place in my frequent list. I've never played it on any portable device, let alone the Q1, and I'd not listened to it more than a handful of times on any device. How it nabbed spot 1 in my frequency list constitutes a conspiracy on the order of 9/11. I've tracked the Q1 at nearly 20 hours of playback with a good salad of use cases. Sure, you can do better, but is more than enough to get through the day of work and the commute to and fro. Its Bluetooth functionality is awesome. You can dual it up as a receiver for your iPhone and plug in your favorite tethered earphones or send signals from it to your favorite wireless buds. The latter can get up to 50 meters from the Q1 before the signal quality goes kaput. That's almost as good as an iPhone, so cool beans. This bad boy is pre-production. If you want to see how the full package looks, check out N Review from February on. It's generally no nonsense, if styled a bit jokily. Its easy to suss GUI and reliable button array are great. The chrome accents are a bit kitsch, but installed in such a solid player, they are nothing but a bit of eccentricity. You'll have to pony up for a micro SD card because the Q1 lacks internal storage. I've been using 32GB Toshiba beasts of speed and reliability and 200GB SanDisk dogs of surfeit and self-destruction. Both work fine. I look at sound quality a bit differently to many reviewers out there. If a device does what it sets out to do and performs well within its category by keeping hiss low, nailing gapless playback, and keeping current to voltage ratios high, it gets good marks from me. If it does all that whilst providing a unique signature, damn. The Q1 hisses a tiny bit more than the iPhone SE, making it almost perfect for the most sensitive earphones on the market. And it spits perfect current into low ohm headphones and earphones. This ensures great frequency response and stereo performance no matter what's plugged into it. Recently I've tested a few mid to high-end players that return worse measurements than the Q1, a fact about which I recently argued at length with a high-profile reviewer. If sound quality means how it makes you feel, the Q1 isn't as good sounding as Cayenne's N6 II, but if sound quality is measurable as a percentage of deviation against the original signal, then the Q1 basically shows up player as high up the scale as the AK380. Even with a minimum slow pass filter engaged, the Q1 belts out music at a foot tapping pace. There's not a real comfy chair bone in its body, and that it's the biggest bone I have to pick with it. I'd much rather soften up its top end with a DAC filter than an EQ. The good news is that the Q1's EQ is robust and easy to use. As you can see, the Q1 keeps up incredible stereo pressure across the spectrum through a variety of loads. IMD and THD distortion top out at 0.052% under the extreme load of an Earsonics SM2. Driving the current-hungry but voltage-shy Audio-Technica ES7, the worst distortion the Q1 puts out is 0.089%. Obviously, both are totally inaudible. Jitter is nominal for a player in its price range and as low as many high-end DAPs on the market today. At normal listening levels, signal-to-noise ratio, stereo separation, and dynamic range drop commensurately to the volume differential between max and comfortable listening levels. Objectively, the Q1 is impeccable and among the best DAPs I've tested. It also sounds good, but it is obvious that Shanling didn't put too much effort into really tailoring its output for a specific sort of sound. Whether peaky and open or dark and rich, I wish they had. Yes, I prefer the latter, but that preference isn't what drives the desire for a more unique sound signature. For whatever reason, high-end DAPs tend to deliver more unique sound signatures. Oftentimes, this comes coupled with unique distortion patterns and more. The Q1 sounds like a better measuring iPhone. That means near perfection, but it means very little character even after applying DAC filters, EQs, and the like. I love the Q1 and I know that technically its sound is top notch, but like many if not most audiophiles, I pine for a DAP that advertises itself along many audio avenues, including a unique and tailored house sound. Unfortunately, the Q1 totally lacks a house or brand painted sound. Its few flaws in UI and haptics aside, the Q1 is the best DAP I've reviewed in recent memory. It performs almost without flaw, and while it lacks a unique sound signature, its sound is great. Its battery life is good, and it is robust, easy to use, and generally responsive. You can even use it as a tethered or wireless DAC for your phone or computer. The Q1's got it where it counts. Better yet, counting up to its price point doesn't take that long. It's awesome. If you want to support the channel, $20 will buy you a hat. Don't got it today because they're so damn popular. Shipped all your way, handwritten by me, serial number, all that. The other thing you can do to support me is go to my Patreon. What I give back is high resolution photographs for your wallpaper or your computer screen from each of my reviews. The ones I think are best from them. I think they look good. The 2 patrons I got right now are pretty happy. So be the 3rd and be the 4th. So anyway, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.